Okay, so now we're going to talk about the solar system. I want to make sure that you understand that the solar system is very easy to remember. Okay, at the center of our solar system is the sun, and we have a number of planets that orbit the sun. And the first planet in the smallest orbit is Mercury, and then we have Venus, and I'm just going to draw them all in the same point in their orbit. Then we have Earth, then we have Mars. And these planets are all closest to the sun, okay? Each of their orbits, they orbit around the sun. These are just their orbits. And each of these planets are called the inner planets. Now, the inner planets are much smaller than the other planets. They're also called the rocky planets because they're made of rock. And once you get outside of the inner planets, you come across an orbit of asteroids. And the asteroids orbit the sun as well in an area called the asteroid belt. And asteroids are just big, giant rocks that orbit the sun. Then you get to the outer planets. Now, the outer planets are much larger than the inner planets, and they're not made of rock. They're actually made of gas, and they're called the gas giants. And the outer planets are Jupiter, actually Jupiter, which is the biggest planet, Saturn, it's a big planet, and we all know Saturn by its ring. And then we have Uranus and Neptune. And Uranus and Neptune are the twins because they look very much like one another. And the thing that distinguishes the twins, you know how everybody's always looking for ways that you can tell twins apart? Well, the thing that distinguishes these twins is that Uranus actually spins like a ball, and Venus spins like the other planets. And everybody thinks that the reason that that happened is because Uranus was hit by something and it tilted it and knocked it off its axis. So now it spins like a ball. Okay, so how are we going to remember what the planets are named and their location from the sun? Is very easy. It's called my very easy method. Just speeds up naming. And it used to be just speeds up naming planets because a while back we had another planet called Pluto. And Pluto is actually no longer considered a planet. He's considered a dwarf planet. And a dwarf planet is smaller than a planet, but he's larger than an asteroid, so he wouldn't be considered an asteroid. So Pluto is a dwarf planet, and a dwarf planet is smaller than a planet, but larger than an asteroid. And we also have other objects in our solar system. We have comets, and comets are just fiery balls of icy rock that fly through the solar system. And let's not forget that the outer planets also orbit the sun, so they also have orbits. Let's not forget that. So the smallest orbit would actually be Mercury, and I always put the little y so I can remember that the first one's Mercury and the second M is Mars because there's two M's. So my very easy method just speeds up naming. And then I always say planets because Pluto's not really a planet, but we still need to include them because a dwarf planet is also an important part of the solar system. So don't forget, the center of our solar system is the sun, and the sun is actually a star. And the sun looks so huge compared to the other stars that's because it's so close to us. It's the closest star to us. And this whole solar system is contained on one arm of the Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy is our galaxy. There's a number of galaxies out there. Our galaxy is called the Milky Way galaxy. So let's review. Inner planets are the rocky planets, and those are the ones that are closest to the sun. The outer planets are the gas giants, and those are the ones furthest from the sun. They're made of gas, and they're much larger than the inner planets. One of the things that you need to remember about Mercury is it's closest to the sun, and it's also the planet without an atmosphere. All of the other planets have atmospheres.